Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it's an awesome afternoon for us to have Dragon Nest here in the arena. There's going to be 1v1 action going on for you. We've got the two players coming up against each other. One from Malaysia, he is on my right-hand side. That is the Falala, and then the player from the Philippines, Jermor. He is going to be playing the Elemental Lord up against an Acrobat, and we will be off and racing in this Dragon Nest 1v1 action in just a few moments for you. It's going to be fairly hot and frantic action. The two teams, the two players will be playing a best of three scenario, so they'll have to win 5 games within that, and it looks like we're going to head across to there now. Get ourselves organised with the two teams, the two players I should say. And there's our Acrobat friends, there we go. So the Acrobat, just she's the more ranged attack. She has a little bit of toe-to-toe that she can do in terms of getting close in and getting some melee attacks. And then the Elemental Lord, she much prefers to stay down deep and offer the attacks from a fair distance as she starts to throw out some fire, flame and all action. Acrobat trying to get in nice and close now as we see her just trying to launch a few bits and pieces. The Elemental Lord just firing off the ice just to keep them away, keep her at a distance. And now she goes in for a bit of a melee attack, can't quite get to the shots in close, and starts to push on through. More shots coming from the Acrobat. She's doing very, very well to push on through, but just not able to affect anything at a great level. So these two are staying fairly well distanced from each other and doing some good action. Oh, it's a nice little piece of attack there from the Acrobat. She's really keeping herself at a good distance here to affect a nice amount of damage, while the Elemental Lord is just suffering down the back in terms of getting those shots off. So let's see if she can try and pick up some bits and pieces from the Elemental Lord side. She goes Harry Potter styles on the broomstick there, but it's going to be more from an evasion effect rather than being up and close and in touch. The shots are now going to come off. Here we go. A few are starting to hit nicely, and everybody's starting to get themselves wrapped up and right into this. Oh, the shots are going to get nice and close. A big double kick there from the Acrobat, and then she disappears off into the background. Recharges herself up a touch as the Elemental Lord is quite happy to fire off the few long-range shots and more long-range shots, and it's going to be a shot. There we go. There's the victory. The shots are good ones here from the Elemental Lord. She's right in there, right and close, getting some good damage, hits out and really affecting the Acrobat quite nicely, but at the same token, Acrobat hitting back quite well here as well. So some definite ice shots going out. The Acrobat getting some heat on her, and this is very good action. This time it's a much better round from the Elemental Lord so far. She's getting a lot more area of effect stuff going on, and she's also getting those good shots off with the big spells starting to come into effect. The Acrobat still racing around all over the map. Oh, she goes in for some close melee, but the Harry Potter broomstick comes out, and that is great work from the Elemental Lord, and she will get an easy win this time round. That is fantastic effort. So our man, the Gurmor from the Philippines, getting himself one back on the board after Falala. He took the first, so it'll be nice even Stevens here in this Dragon Nest 1v1 action, ladies and gentlemen. So if you haven't kept up with what Dragon Nest is, it's effectively a multiplayer, massive multiplayer online game, but with a PvP competitive element, which has made it absolutely phenomenal from all perspectives. And you can see now as these two players start to go back in, launching onto each other. These shots are already coming out quite nicely here from the Acrobat. The Elemental Lord trying to strike back on a couple, just getting a good couple of shots off, or good area of effect there from the Acrobat as she went flying into the ground. Does a bit of offset damage as she does that drop into the ground, and that's what knocked back the Elemental Lord. So she now starts to get herself all prepared. So Gilmore just doing some good work here from the Philippines to try and get himself set up to try and take on Falala as he continues to push on through. Falala just taking the shots now from down deep. He's got himself some better range this time round, and the Elemental Lord hasn't been able to get some of those close range spells off to do some damage that she really needs to go. Here comes the broomstick. That is a big high level of damage maneuver that the Elemental Lord can pull there, and just on this occasion not really getting too much to write home about. So once again, more of an evasive move on that occasion than anything else. A big spiral, the whirlwind movement going on there, and that is a massively easy win from the Acrobat. You can see the health level there. Just a note on the health level, I'm not talking about it for a specific reason, because these two players obviously cannot see each other's health levels, but you obviously have the benefit of being able to see that, as do I as spectators. So we just have to keep quiet on that one until they get closer than anything that's close and start to tail away and die. So shots start to ring off some down deep ones there from the Acrobat, and also the Elemental Lord firing the shots off as well. So here we go. Now they're starting to get in close. The Acrobat trying to get a bit of a combo on. Oh, not quite able to do so. And in fact, no, I thought she was going to hit one. The Elemental Lord kind of got a little bit stuck there, but at the same time, they are providing each other with plenty of damage as they just bounce around the map here. The Acrobat's getting one, and then the Elemental Lord will get one back. So they're retaliating on each other quite happily at the moment. Good knockback there from the Elemental Lord. Now she starts to get a combo on. But best I say that the big retaliation from the Acrobat, and then she throws out some fairly high damage maneuvers. The Acrobat's now tried to drag in the Elemental Lord, can't quite do so. Falala looking like he could have something going on here as he gets the combo on, and he does so, and it'll be first round to him. Again, ladies and gentlemen, it is best of three, so he'll be happy to get one on the board there. And the Falala, that is the Malaysian player. Well done to him. He's on my right-hand side here, so he can smile quite happily. Well done, dude. Good start for you. And so that's Dragon Nest when it comes down and dirty to it, as they'll play this fifth round out, I'm sure. And oh yeah, shots are going to continue on through here. So the two players, so it'll be, oh here we go, some nice combo work going on here. So the big difficulty you can see here between the Acrobat and the Elemental Lord is they've got some decent long range shots, but they've also got some close range stuff that can really hit. Now the way that Dragon Nest works is those long range shots still need to be on target. They still need to be a skill shot, if you will, and that's what makes it such a more skilled game for these players to be taking on. It's not just about just hitting and hoping like you would do in some other multiplayer online games. No, this one you need to, in Dragon Nest, you need to have a little bit of skill to it, but that skill can come easy enough as long as you know how to control a mouse. So I'm pretty sure that's most of you out there. As the shots continue on through here, the Elemental Lord just getting a little bit of one-upmanship here as the shots continue on through. Oh, big Acrobat combo there, so that's good work as the Elemental Lord just trying to be dragged in here. Oh, here we go. No, not quite able to hit the combo, and in the end, actually, he's going to get taken down. That is great work. So there we go. That will be the end of the round. 5 points done and dusted. And there we go. So I'm just informed it's first to 5 points on each map and best of 3 maps. So that's good work. All right, so first to 5 points. So they've got to get, effectively, out of the 10 games that will be available to them, they've got to pick up 5 points, or 9 games, I should say. They've got to pick up 5 of those, so there are a couple more to go. So we'll just watch the Acrobat here as he starts to bounce up and down. Oh, big dazed shot there on the Elemental Lord. The combo starts to come out. It's a massive combo here from the Acrobat, still firing the arrows off down deep, and the Elemental Lord is really suffering hard as she gets a couple of shots back onto Falala there. That is good work from Jermore, as now he's starting to copy the arrows. The aim from Falala is fantastic at the moment. Here come the ice shots. They're going to go out. Then the flame is going to roar up all around them. That's going to create a more interesting side of events as the Acrobat starts to push on through. Falala trying to get in close, can't quite hit. And in the end, the Elemental Lord drops him one back. But now there's, oh, Harry Potter comes out and the flames will go roaring. But do they get the effect that they wanted to as the shots continue on from the Acrobat here? She's going down deep. She's trying to get some of these melee moves to hit, but they can't quite do so. The Elemental Lord just firing some more shots in. This is going to go down to the wire as these two players continue to push on at each other. They are fantastically well placed as the aim needs to come out from both of them. There it is! Big area of effect from the Elemental Lord, and Jermore will be happy with that one. They go to 3 apiece. And that is fantastic work here in this Dragon Nest arena. Ladies and gentlemen, these two teams are going to get nice and close to each other. These two players really pushing each other to the limits. So the score count to 3. Again, just to repeat that, now that I've been corrected, the players need to hit 5 points. So then this 1v1 face-off between the Malaysian player and the Filipino player, as a shot from the Acrobat is a fantastic one. Good start to get him on the board, if you will, as the long-range arrow, that arrow that he fires out with all those bows going off in different those ropes going off in different directions, that drags the player in and gets him nice and close so he can start a decent combo. Bit of a poison effect there from the Elemental Lord onto the Acrobat. That is a good piece of work there from her. So Jermore just operating good at long range here, and then just saying, you can go and hide back in that spawn area, but I'm going to wait for you to come on out. And that's exactly what he does. So just avoiding some arrows, just the left-right combinations here from our friend, the Elemental Lord. And she's also just blinking around there. So Jermore doing some good work, some great area of effect. Oh, there we go. Tries to take him. Has some massive damage work there as the Harry Potter broomstick goes fantastically well. And that is an example of how to make that broomstick maneuver with the flames coming out the back. The player has to get trapped in those flames and that's exactly what the Elemental Lord managed to do on that occasion. So that is great work from her as we see the two players just sort of giving each other the standoff. Not quite the Mexican one, if you will. Now, the knockdown effect was good work there, but just a little bit too far away to try and effect a combo on the knocked down player. So once again, the acrobat will just go hiding back here as Falala just starts to get himself just almost teasing Germore here to try and come in closer and tries to fire. There's the drag one, but couldn't quite get the drag in. There we go. Combo comes out, but nothing to get too excited about because the player wasn't there to get the damage affected on him. More shots coming through. The Elemental Lord firing the shots down deep. And then the acrobat just staying well away. So the acrobat you saw just on fire there for a second. Shots go out as the ranged attacks are very, very good between these two players. They know that this round is vitally important. They both want to pick it up. This is the fourth round, and whoever wins this one will go into the next one with a match point on their hands. Oh, there's the big combo from the acrobat. The long range kick followed by a good combo, and that will be the one that will do the damage in the end. That is fantastic work from our player, Falala from Malaysia here. He is once again got himself on the board, and he'll have a match point advantage, ladies and gentlemen. There'll be 2 rounds left in this 1v1 face-off between the Filipino player, that is Germore, and Falala, who is in the lead from Malaysia. He is the acrobat. The other player is, of course, the Elemental Lord. There are 4 classes that you can choose from here in the game of Dragon Nest, and these 2 players are just 2 of those, the bow class as well as the magic or the sorcery class. So shots going out there on this occasion. Acrobat is feeling the heat, but the Elemental Lord just chasing him now. So they're going to go close range shots and try and take each other down from fairly close range. Shots are good ones here as the acrobat getting caught in amongst a whole lot of ice, a few more pieces of ice, and then some flame to retard him a little bit more. He will be hoping for a flame retardant suit, but that's not exactly what he's got. He's instead got to deal with the damage that's being handed to him, and it's being handed to him fairly vastly here at the moment as the shots continue to fire, and it'll be excuse me, there as a shot continues to push on through. The acrobat just firing the shots down deep, trying to drag in a combo or two to at least get him back into this little piece of action here. The shots continue to firing across. It's going to be a very close setup here for the Elemental Lord. Shot down deep with an area effect, can't quite hit its mark. More shots, skill shot magic missiles, if you will, trying to go out there. Oh, here comes the defeat. Yes, it is, as the acrobat getting downed in the end there. She survived for a fair amount of time with little to no health, but in the end, it was not to be. And now we start the next round. In through the mid there, the acrobat shots are not quite on the mark at this stage, so the Elemental Lord will get the first upper hand here. Bang, 1, 2, 3, some poison damage as well as the ice shards going flying. She slowed him down as the Elemental Lord. She's going to try and continue to push on this one. This is going to be a good, fast, furious attack. She's pushing on him fantastically hard, so this is what the close range damage can do, as both players try to push onto each other, but the acrobat is the one that's trying to evade all the damage that keeps on coming her way. She's got no escape. The fire, the ice, everything goes. It's going to be a hard ending here as the acrobat just getting pummeled to beyond belief. An aggressive final round there, and in the end, the Filipino player of Germore will come up trump, so he will take that first map in this best of 3. So there you see it, 5 kills to 4, and that is all she wrote. Oh, here we go. She's got the attacks on nice and early once again. So they've switched sides. So just keep an eye on the tally on that one. The 2 tallies at the top of the screen have changed over. There's a big whirlwind shot there as the acrobat just trying to go in for some more pummeling damage, but good blink away. One of the Elemental Lord's little skills that she's got there. She can just jump out of the way and jump a few meters, which is sometimes all it needs to avoid major damage and just get minor damage. Big area of effect shot there from the Elemental Lord, but she got done from behind by a great arrow shot from the acrobat here. She's suffering quite nicely as the Elemental Lord, as the acrobat getting some good combinations on here. Big whirlwind combo going on there, and the Elemental Lord coming off second best on that occasion for sure, as the acrobat continues to push on through. She fires off some long range shot, they semi hit the mark, and now she's going in for the big combo damage. Great work from the acrobat, and that is exactly the start that the man Falala will want after Germore taking that first round. So he will chalk one up on the board. And we'll move straight away into the next round. Some good work here from this 1v1 action. Ladies and gentlemen, this is, of course, Dragon Nest at its very, very best. These two players competitively have come together after a big knockout selection process, and they are, as classed, some of the best 1v1 players in Southeast Asia. They are going nuts at each other. There's close-range attacks underneath the bridge. The Acrobat bouncing and hurtling herself around. She can't quite evade some of the shots that are coming her way. She starts to unload onto the Elemental Lord. Oh, massive combo. Can't be escaped from the Elemental Lord there, and she will get absolutely taken down. So some good work there from the Acrobat. The Elemental Lord firing off some decent fire shots from afar. Then she throws out the ice just to slow everything down a bit. She can't quite slow down her competitor at this stage, as the Acrobat just bouncing around quite happily. More decent arrow shots coming out from the Acrobat there. So the Elemental Lord really on the back foot here, needing to effect some good shots, but can't quite execute. She goes in too close and gets caught in that whirlwind, and now the Acrobat will be smiling happily here, will our man. Oh, here comes the Harry Potter. He hadn't pulled that out for a couple of rounds. He will do so this time round, and it will be not to good effect. And in the end, all it'll do is just put him right into the spider's web, and that's exactly what Falala will need. A 2-round lead here in the second of the 3 matches, and that is some good work from Falala to grab that one. So it will be 2-0 on the board here in the Dragon Nest Arena. Falala has got himself up in advance of Jermore, who took out the first round of play, or the first match. And this second match is the one that's going to count for him. But at the moment, he's getting stood in front of shots from Jermore, good ones, as he takes him onto Falala. The ice comes out and behind him, but here we go. That's a good piece of ice attack. It will not be so well received, though, by the Elemental Lord, just copping a whole lot of damage there as the Acrobat bounced around in a decent combo. Goes around the corner. The Acrobat is using these corners to good effect to just hide away, and now she's going up atop that bridge. So that's the bridge that you see where they spawn. So now she's just going to jump on down it for you. So that is a good bridge to get some higher ground attacks from, and of course really sort of evade with some ease. So shots going out now. Good ones. The Acrobat just firing the arrows from the long range, as the Elemental Lord copping the damage, but also literally firing out the heat in the form of fireballs, as more action coming through. The Acrobat start to push on and pummel through into close range. The Elemental Lord can be really dicey and dangerous from those close levels of attack, and much more effective than the Acrobat, I would have to assume, as the Elemental Lord now starting to get some good shots on. The knockback there as well, which was affected well. More shots going through, as the Acrobat just having to evade, so the Elemental Lord is quite happy and quite decent enough to wait for the Acrobat to come on through. Shots are good ones, and there you go, big close range effect off the fire, and he will get himself on the board, will Jermore, so he'll rub the legs in contentment on this occasion as the next round starts to pick up and go. So our Elemental Lord on screen right now, that is Jermore. He is from the Philippines, ladies and gentlemen, and has done a fantastic job to get himself all the way over here to Singapore to take on the Malaysian player in the form of Falala. Falala taking the Acrobat class. Those, just running you through those 4 classes. The other ones that, of course, are not on display between this 1v1 are the clerical class, or the priest class, if you will, which combines the priest and the paladin, and also the warrior class, which has a barbarian and a swordsman. So, sorry, a mercenary and a swordsman. So the mercenary being a decent long-range attacks, where the swordsman just has a general all-round volley of skills, while the 2 classes from the priest and the paladin. The priest having fantastic healing abilities and some decent long-range attacks, while the paladin, well, says it all. He has some good close-range attacks as well as some definite heals. Shots are good ones here from both players, as they're going toe-to-toe right in close with each other. The shots on the Acrobat are being affected well here. Oh, the Harry Potter broomstick coming out, laying down a whole fury of flames around the Acrobat. There was no escape from those, so she would have taken a decent wallop of damage, but now she fires out a combo. It's going to go close runs here. Oh, fantastic combo to finish from the Acrobat, and once again, Falala getting himself back on the board. So it'll be 3-1 here, as round number 4 defeat is a good one for the Elemental Lord to have to come back from. The Acrobat is doing some good, decent damage. It was a close one there in that previous battle. The 2 players getting themselves into a good situation where they had low health on each other, but in the end, the Acrobat combos were the ones that came off on top. And it would just appear that this time round, though, the Elemental Lord getting set up nicely, just taking those ice shards to the Acrobat with some good aim as well. There we go, there's the frozen cube. That gives the Elemental Lord a good chance to get some combos on, but now the Acrobat strikes back. Big whirlwind combos as she just gets tumbled up in the air, the Elemental Lord. She's firing the shots on out now as they just avoid each other with some ease. I have to say, of everything that's going on here, the Elemental Lord seems the much more static player, and that's probably been what's been the downfall for this stage, is the Acrobat just really bouncing around all over the map, and you find me just moving the mouse around just to follow exactly where Falala's taking it, while Jermore here just jumping on the broomstick trying to find his opposition player. Can't do so. So the fire shot that really need to hit its mark, probably not able to do so as they get close and dirty with each other down in the spawn area. Once again, the Acrobat comes up trumps in the close range department as the two go toe-to-toe in that area, and he will be happy with his work there. So Falala coming back nicely after the 5 round to 4 loss last time round. But this time round, he is going close as ever with, more simplistically than ever, as he gets himself 4 rounds to 1 up in this second match. So the shots now are starting to get into close. He does it. There's our friend the Acrobat just tossing herself around and trying to get the shots all over the place. Just making sure she avoids those ice shards that seem to be the favourite attack of choice from our Filipino friend, as Jermore just continues to fire the ice and the flames all out over the place. The Elemental Lord just copping a bit of heat here as here we go. Now it's combo time as far as the Elemental Lord's concerned. She fires them off, gets a good bit of damage on. Now she just has to follow it up with some more damage. Will we see some? No, it's a knockdown from the Acrobat. This could be could spell a death for the Elemental Lord, and that could be the match. As the fire shot comes out, good bounce away from the Acrobat, and she won't suffer too much from that one. So now the Elemental Lord really needs to push on and take the player down. She's going to get some good flame going out here. There's the long range attack, and there's more long range attack, short range attacks, but no, in the end it was a simple arrow that will grab the second match, and that is some good work from all concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, we are evened up on the map. Once again, we'll head back to the Lost Temple. This is the Lost Temple. Lost Temple figure 8 is what I was saying before. So the bridge that you see just over the top of the Acrobat there is the top of the figure 8, and then they can go around the other sides all over the place. Shot there from Falalara, just trying to hit onto Jermore. Lord, she's got him nice and tight in the sphere of effect, and that is some great work as that bubble of damage just continues to fire on through. But then those consistent arrows that the Acrobat seems to be putting together once again come into play, and that's what will never discount our friend Falala from being in the action. And now comes the Harry Potter. The avoidance is the tactics there, and that's exactly what the Acrobat does. Falala just racing out underneath the bridge, but Jermore definitely with the upper hand here as he starts to bail himself out and push across into a different direction. And now the shots continue to push on through to him. Shots, good ones, but just it's more of an evasion tactic here from Falala, as Jermore definitely has the upper hand. He starts to continue to push on through. He's got it in the end. That is fantastic from Falala. The big drop down combo was a decent area of effect one, and that's all you need in the end to effect a win. So this is the third map of 3, third match of 3, should I say, of 3, ladies and gentlemen. The first 2, the first was taken out by Jermore, the Elemental Lord from the Philippines, and then the second was taken out by the Acrobat, Falala from Malaysia. And this 1v1 action, these two players have come together after fighting line to arrive here in Singapore to see who can do the damage against everybody else in a 1v1 face-off to the doom. As the shots from the Acrobat are good ones, they continue to push on through. Big combo there. She continues to push on through. This combo is an absolute stunner. There is no retort from the Elemental Lord. She is absolutely pummeled beyond ridicularity, and that's going to let the Acrobat do whatever he damn well pleases, and that is an absolute torturous defeat for the Elemental Lord, stuck in a world of pain and unable to jump out of it. And that is exactly how you can effect a win here with an Acrobat close range against the Elemental Lord. Many have said that the Elemental Lord probably a little bit overpowered in various times of its life cycle, but at the moment certainly the Acrobat of Falala saying, no, I got this. This Acrobat gone down good. So he is just taking the shots and trying to grab the player in to try and affect some more damage as the Elemental Lord just dropping down and getting some more good shots on. Now they start to affect each other. The blink away from the Elemental Lord was a decent one, but just affected a little bit too late as the damage had already hit her. So the Acrobat just playing and toying with the Elemental Lord. Then she needs to get that close range shot in. She can't quite do so at the moment as the Acrobat continues to push on through. Falala is doing some great work here with the Acrobat in hand. And good decent area of effect shot onto the Acrobat though from the Elemental Lord. And Jumor's got something to say about losing the next round. He wants to finally get himself on the scoreboard and continues to make some area of effect. They start to play cat and mouse around the corner of the building there. Huge damage is going to come out from the broomstick there. And that is some great work. There we go. So don't be disappointed. The Elemental Lord dropped to the ground, but that was just because she got knocked as her shot went off. And in the end, she will get on the board. So Jumor, he'll be happy with the work he's done there, grabbing himself around. And another round goes on the board. It'll be 2 rounds to 1 on the scoreboard here in the Dragon Nest Arena, ladies and gentlemen. And this, of course, 1v1 action coming at you nice and fast and furious. And it is action you need to watch. It is just ridiculously fast. And these players, the skill level that they've got is quite phenomenal. And if you want to try it out, you certainly are encouraged to do so. As the two teams continue to push on through. Shots on the Elemental Lord this time round are going to be full of a world of hurt once again. The combo is massive as he bobs his head around to our man Falala. He is doing some great work. He's getting right into it with the head movements and all. And once again, an absolute demolition of the Elemental Lord. He's come into his own in the last couple of rounds and having an absolute whale of a time. So full credit to him. 3 rounds to 1 now here in the deciding match between these two players as they just need, the Filipino player needs to pick himself up out of the dirt. Jumor, he's our Elemental Lord. He needs 4 more rounds to win this matchup. Where Falala, he's our Acrobat that you see on screen right now. He is doing phenomenally well with just 2 required. And he starts himself off nicely, getting a touch of damage from that little frost that burns up behind him. And now he'll get a whole lot more as the shots go in close range and the two players start to converse in a close range territory. The big combos start to push on through. There's some great work there from both players to continue to push onto each other. So the Elemental Lord just firing the shots out from down deep, just running alongside her shots to continue to push on closer. So it's good work with those fireballs and those flame shots as she follows them through. Big shot there. And now she pulls out the broom shot as the flaming broomstick gets out and gets dirty. And she just loses sight there of the Acrobat as the Acrobat starting to come back into effect now. Falala from down deep. Will he fire the shots off or will he go for the close range attack? Big shot there from the Elemental Lord to get the shots down onto him. So the Elemental Lord is just quite content. Took a couple of big hits there as the arrows were on target as he roamed around the corner to the Elemental Lord. So Jumor having to pull something solid out here to get himself back. Let's see if he can do it on this round as he starts to chase. Can't quite do so just at the moment though. He'll back off for a few seconds and then just wait to see if the player's going to come towards him. There's going to be a mana recovery, if you will, as the magic needs to get recovered in order to play the shots. As the two players go close, they're just tailing off from each other. The shots are good ones here from both players. Who will come out on top? It will be Falala. He went close and went dirty and he got the shot off, and it was an area of effect bombshell into the ground as he does, and that will be another one on the board from 4 rounds to 1. This is match point for him. He has 4 of them up his sleeve, ladies and gentlemen. Big 4 rounds that have to be pulled back from the Filipino player in the form of Jumor. So he is really struggling at this late stage of the game as the two players start to go converse up and close right in the middle. And what could be possibly the final stanza here of this matchup. The Acrobat goes in for a shot, just chucking one down. Couldn't quite do the full effect though. Now the shot starts to push on through. The Acrobat getting in close again. Will we see one of these monster combos that we've seen Falala pull off in just a few seconds, or will we not? As the shots, in fact, from the Elemental Lord were quite well pushed, but just not able to affect too much damage, I would assume, by the looks of it. And then the shots continue to push on through. More from the Elemental Lord. Continues to try her darndest. Jumor is really pushing hard here, but just being bantered almost by the Acrobat as the shots continue to get unloaded onto her. The kicks and the ball. See, there we go. So now comes out the Harry Potter flame, but the Acrobat finding some ease to disappear and in the end, not really of any concern is that flaming broomstick. Now he hides around the corner as he just waits to see, just copping some heat there, as you see the flames coming off the back of the Acrobat. And now they're going to play a little bit of a Mexican standoff game. They both know that they need to win this round. They need to win this match. The benefit is, of course, for our friend the Acrobat in Falala, that he has the time on his side. He's got 4 more rounds that he can, 3 more rounds after this one if he loses it, to pick up and do some more damage. And there's shots on the Elemental Lord are coming to start to take effect. And there we go, there's the victory. 5 rounds to 1 in the end. And the Filipino player in the form of Jermor will lose out. Falala from Malaysia will take the win. And it'll be 2 matches to 1 in the end in this 1v1 Dragon Nest action, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back soon with some more.